We have the World Show coming up in 4 months. I want him at his mental and physical peak at that time, 4 months, when we take him to the World Show. Today we're going to be working with Blue. If you're new to my channel, I've had Blue in training for a couple of years. All of the horses that you see in my videos are horses that came to me for training, and he came to me to train to show in working cow horse, and that's the direction we're going in. And actually, I have him qualified for the working cow horse worlds coming up in about 4 months. So we're going to be getting geared up towards getting him ready to show at that show, to get him to peak out at that point. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, how to get a horse to peak out when you want it to peak out and try to get the most of the horse at that time. So I started showing Blue earlier this year, this show year, which we're coming up out of year. It's coming up on the end of the show year. And in the first 3 shows he won his cow horse certificate of achievement. So he started out really nice. He shows really good. He is a own son of Bet He's a Cat. If you watch the Yellowstone series, his daddy was actually in one of the episodes in the Yellowstone series. And he also had a brother that showed in the Run for the Million last year. So what we're wanting to do is make sure that he is peaked out and ready to show in 4 months for the Cow Horse World Show. He has shown, this year is his first year showing. He's a 5-year-old. And what we want to do, we want to make sure he is physically and mentally ready to show. The first several shows, I showed him pretty hard, and we won what we needed to win to get him qualified for the World Show. The last show, I backed off a lot. I made it really easy so that we could build him up for the World Show that's coming up in 4 months. A couple of things that I wanted to address with him. He gets nervous when he gets to a show, and he gets runny stool at a show. So I wanted to start working on that now. To help with that, I'm giving him a course of ulcer guard. I really don't think he has ulcers, but I want to get his stomach in as good a condition as I can. Other thing I want to do with him health-wise, I just gave him a power dose of Wormer. I want to make sure his system is clean, and I want to make sure I'm giving enough time between now and that 4 months that if he did have any parasites or if he does have any issues in his intestines, that we get that healed up before the show. So I want to make sure he's physically healthy with his digestive system. I have had a little bit of issues with his feet when we went through the wet spell a couple of months ago, but right now we're back to dry weather. His feet are in good shape. I actually just had his shoes redone last week, so his feet are in good shape. So we're good there. Next thing we need to work on is we need to work on getting his stamina up a little bit more. The last month, a little bit more than a month, maybe 5 weeks, I wanted to kind of bring him down from the showing hard that we did. I wanted his mind to come down and let him kind of chill up so I can build him back up again for the show. So over the last month, I've still been riding him, but I've been doing trail rides on him. I've been sitting on him a lot when I'm doing riding lessons, just making the riding really easy. And I did that for his brain because I needed to get his mind in a little bit better place going into the World Show. But in the process, I lost a little bit of fitness. So I'm going to start back, and I'm going to work on building his fitness back up where it needs to be. And that's what we're going to work on today, his riding, work on getting him back in the direction of getting him fit again. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I mean to have him peaked out. That's a term I use, and I've heard that term used a lot bit, but maybe not everybody knows what that means. We have the World Show coming up in 4 months. I want him at his mental and physical peak at that time, 4 months, when we take him to the World Show. I don't believe any person or horse or any athlete can bring themselves to their absolute peak maximum that they can possibly do and maintain that for a long period of time. I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble with their horse. They try to get their horse the best that horse can be and keep it there all year long. And no horse or person can maintain that. And over a period of time, the horse will be overwhelmed mentally, and you'll start having problems just because the horse can't maintain that mentally. So over the last 5 weeks or so, I've given him somewhat of a break. I've still been riding him, but it hasn't been working like we were working before. I've been doing more trail riding on him, a lot of sitting on him when I'm doing other lessons, a lot of just kind of chill riding. Let his mind come back down, let him kind of relax. He had been in training for probably 2 years consistently. He had a couple little breaks once in a while, but not a lot. So we needed to give his mind a little bit of a break so we could kind of start over and build him back up. This is a big difference between what I do as a showing barn and then just a general training barn. We both make the training happen, we both get it done, but I need to get it done so that the training peaks when I need it to peak, and so that when that training peaks, it's going to show good, it's going to be judged good, it's going to look good. Somebody who does just basic training, they're not going to be as concerned about getting a particular maneuver or stop or bend. They're not going to be as concerned about getting that peaked. They're going to want to make it happen. Well, I want it to happen, but I want it to happen to a high level of quality. And that is a big difference between me as a showing barn versus a general training barn. I need these maneuvers to not just be there, but I need them to peak out and be at a high level of quality. So I've been walking these circles, just kind of getting him moving, which he's not unfit. I've still been riding him, but I want to bring his mind back up slowly. I'm not really going to work maneuvers. We haven't worked a cow in a couple of weeks. I'm still going to let that be another week or two before we work a cow again. I want to make sure that I bring him up so that he is physically prepared. We don't want to do anything. I don't want to bring him up too fast, too hard, and create any injuries. We have worked way too long and too hard and come too far to push now and get an injury. Way too many trainers I see don't do their homework, and they don't do this building like I'm talking about, and then they end up with an injury. So how am I going to build him back? Well, I actually already started with those circles that I was just walking. I want to make sure that he uses his body correctly. Right now he's getting his head a little bit high, but I just now trotted him off. When you saw me get on, I had just gotten on him. He is totally fresh. All of these videos that I do of these horses in training, I start from the beginning. I might edit a minute or two out of the beginning just while I'm getting my thoughts started and get talking, but I generally start cold with the horse. So back to this horse. I walk those circles. I want to make sure that I build him up and bring him back down. I did a video a while back about controlling a horse's energy. I'll put a link up top here. It talked about bringing the horse's energy up and bringing it back down. So what I'm going to do, every time I ride him, I'm going to bring his energy up to a level, and then I'll bring it back down. And gradually over time, over those next 4 months while we're getting ready, I'll gradually get that energy level up a little higher, and I'll get the quality of his maneuvers up a little higher. But the key to getting maneuver quality good is in body correctness. I see so many people that take a nice reining horse with a really nice stop, and it's fun, so they just stop them over and over and over. And you end up either creating a mind that don't want to stop, or you create a physical issue. The worst thing you can do, hanging on that right rein a little bit, the worst thing you can do is do any maneuver over and over and over. Hanging on that right rein again. we're going to work on this right rein. Same thing holds true like with the spin. If you spin a horse over and over and over, a couple of things are going to happen. One is a good chance you're going to create a physical problem. And another thing is you're going to create a mental problem. You're not going to get a good quality spin all the time because the horse is going to be like, well, I just gave you a spin. Why do you keep asking me to spin? It's similar with building this horse up for the show that we're getting ready for. I am not going to ask for every maneuver at a high quality. I'm going to ask for most of my maneuvers to be at a lower level, maybe at about 50%, and then occasionally I'll ask for one with more effort. That's real important for maintaining the horse's positive mental state, and that's real important for maintaining the horse's physical well-being. As I'm trotting around here, I'm getting him to round off of my reins, off of my legs, and in the process, it looks like we're just trotting circles here, but in the process, I'm working his shoulders. Right there, his shoulders just fell, so I just pick up that shoulder, strengthen that shoulder. Every time I pick up that shoulder, I'm working these muscles right here. And I'm working his back end. I did a video not too long ago about how each of the rein pulls and the leg pulls affect the movement of the horse. I'll put a link to that video up top. If you see me using my hands or my legs in a certain way, and I'm not talking specific about what that thing is that I'm doing with my hands and legs and how it's affecting the horse, I covered all that in another video. So if you'd like to see that information, it'd be in this video up here. So what I want to do here is I want to bring his nose in. I want his nose to come in towards the point of his shoulder, so we're in a left circle. I want to bring the nose in to the point of his left shoulder and soften. That's like doing repetitions with his muscles and soften. While I'm doing this, I'm squeezing him forward with my legs, getting the bend with my hands, making sure his body is traveling in this circle and get soft. Let's do a little bit of counter bending. We'll work on this outside. Strengthen this outside up. I'll lift the right shoulder. A little bit of counter bend. And back into our circle. Change directions. Get some right bend, go into our right circle. Make sure he lost his engagement in the back end when we turned that corner. If you notice, I'll see if I can pull up a replay when I'm editing this video. He got his nose out, and right after he got his nose out, he lost his engagement with the back end. I'll try to pull that back up, show you that when I edit this video. That was pretty interesting. Get some right bend, go into our right circle. I felt it. I think it'd be pretty neat to see in slow motion. Okay. Kind of hanging on his rein a little bit. Get him a little softer, a little bit of right rein, a little bit of right leg. As you see, everything that I'm doing with my hands and my legs, I'm not being really hard. I'm not jerking on him hard. I'm not spurring him hard. It's all about saying, hey, do this. And then when he does that, I get soft. I want a very willing mind, which he has a willing mind to begin with, but it would be really easy to make it not willing. Do a little bit of counter bend. and back into my circle. All of these maneuvers, these exercises, these are all strengthening exercises that build into the maneuvers that he does. So since we use this as strengthening, that makes him stronger and puts his body in the position that it needs to be to do the maneuvers we need to do. Let's do another counter bend. And back to a right bend. So all of the horses that you see in my videos are all horses that have been sent to me for training. Some of them, like him, are sent to me to train long term and get to show them and see what we can accomplish with them in a show setting. And some of them are sent to me with problems that we need to work on. So if you have a horse that you want to talk to me about training, shoot me a message. And the nice thing about doing it this way is if you send me your horse to train, I'll do videos and post videos for you to see the progress, and then you'll have some reference to step back, to look back at. Didn't always do that. Get him off my right rein a little bit. I didn't always do that, but I'm doing more of that now. So while I'm talking, I'm kind of working his face a little bit. You need to be watching my hands, watching my legs, see what I do. One of the things that I found that's very useful when I watch a training video is I'll usually watch it all the way through one time with the sound on. And then what I'll do is I'll watch it through again with the sound muted. No closed captions or anything, just the sound muted. So one of the things, if you watch it with the sound on, you see what I'm doing, and then you go back and watch it with the sound off, what'll happen is you'll pick up on things. If I'm talking about my hands and you're watching it with the sound off, you'll pick up on, oh wow, he was doing this with his feet while he was talking about his hands. And that way, you pick up on things that you missed the first time with the sound on. So if you're interested in the training that I do for show and working cow horse, spinning and stopping and things like that, I put a link up top so you can look at the playlist and pick out the things that you're interested in. And I'll talk to you more about how he comes along and getting ready for the World Show. Until next time, thank you for watching.